What is going on, guys? As these 350Zs become more popular and more people like myself pick them up to turn them into drift cars or burnout cars or street cars or whatever, there's one important thing that all cars need to be able to do, and that is a standing burnout. Standing burnout. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the throttle, smoke out all your buddies while not moving. Or in drifting, left foot brake. Very important tool to be able to chase cars closely and smoothly. So I'm going to show you how to set this car up so you can actually left foot brake while drifting and actually do a burnout without the car bogging down. You can disable the traction control and the ABS and be able to do donuts and slide around, and that's great, but there's a couple other steps that you have to go through in order to be able to do a burnout. So I'm going to walk you through those steps. I've already done them on this car, so I'm just going to point it out and explain how and what you need to do. And then on top of all of this, I'm going to teach you guys how to do a burnout today in a manual car. So we'll do all these things that we need to do. We're going to go down onto this, we're on a private driveway here, and where it's flat, we're going to do a burnout. I'm going to show you the pedals, what my feet are doing. You're going to see outside, you're going to be able to hear throttle input, and I'm going to walk through every step possible so that you can go show your friends burnout. So after doing lots of research, there are a few different ways to disable traction control and ABS. I'm going to show you how I did it. If you want to do it different, or if you've already done it differently, all good. But I found this to be what worked best for me. So now, right here is where the traction control computer is. You're going to want to remove that and just tuck the wiring off to the side. I've seen guys wire switches in so they can turn it on and off. Whatever you want to do, that's where it is, right behind the shifter. Mine's gone. I'll never use it again. I'm completely okay with that. Moving on to the engine bay for the ABS. Couple different ways to do this, and I'll tell you why I chose to do it the way that I did. One, right down in here, there is a ABS sensor or plug. You can unplug that. If you unplug that, you will lose your tach or your miles per hour. You lose one of them. I don't know. I didn't do it. So I chose to not go that route. I chose to go this route. All I did was go to this pink little box of fuses here. There's 230 amp and 140. And if I can get this to focus, I can't because it's dirty. Anyways, the 230 amp fuses are your ABS. You're going to take a small pair of dikes and you're going to cut both 30 amp fuses, not cutting this one. If you cut this one, your car will not start. It is the ignition switch. Okay? Make sure your battery's unplugged when doing all of this work. Okay? Then we're going to cruise into here. You're going to reach up under here. Okay? There's your ECU right there. On this ECU, there is a blue and orange wire that goes to pin 101. You're going to pull this ECU out. There's just a little tab right here, and it'll flip down. I really don't want to take apart all of my interior, so I'm probably not going to pull it out. Anyways, there's a little pull tab, and that breaks loose the ECU. You're going to pull it out. You're going to cut that blue and orange wire. Make sure your battery is disconnected when doing this, okay? Then you will put the ECU back in, make sure it's connected. You'll put back together all of your interior pieces. Very simple. Okay. And then when you get in the car, you should have a whole bunch of lights on your dash. And there are ways to fix that. I don't care, so I didn't do it. And I, to be honest, don't know how to do it. But none of that is important to me. But your car should start. And we'll fire this thing up and we'll go down the driveway here and show you guys how to do a burnout. Before I take you guys down here and show you how to do this, it's very important that you do this in a place that is safe, where you're not endangering anybody or yourself. Preferably a racetrack or, you know, a private driveway like we have here. I'm not trying to be a bad influence, but I do want to teach you guys how to have some fun in your car. These little cars don't make a lot of power. To drift them, it's not the easiest. but with a few minor upgrades and a little bit of know-how, you can have fun too. So I got the GoPro for the pedal cam, and then I'll have a couple cameras outside to show you guys what kind of smoke this thing can make on these PHI Accelera 255/35 18s. It's a bigger tire than you usually see on a stock Z, and I don't think it'll have a problem at all doing a burnout for you guys. See? Cutting a wire on your ECU isn't so bad. So in my car, the traction control light doesn't turn on, but there's also no traction control button here, so I'm not really sure how things vary between the models of the Zs, but I do have an ABS light, and I know that the traction control is disabled because, well, you're about to see. Alright, so once you find your location and you're ready to try your first burnout, put it in first gear, clutch in, right foot on the brake pedal. Once you're comfortable in your seat, you need to rev the car. If you're in a 350Z, close to 5,000 RPM. Stay in the throttle, lift your foot off the clutch quickly, and apply your left foot to the brake pedal. The braking force needed is a lot in the beginning, but you can slowly back off. You can slowly back off if you want to creep forward. Keep the throttle matted. You can back off or add throttle depending on where the RPM range is, and if you feel like the car's starting to bog out. If you feel the car starting to bog out, apply more throttle, trying to stay away from rev limiter, especially in these cars, because we know that these motors aren't the most reliable, and they don't like a lot of abuse. Okay, now if the car starts to kick out left or right, in our instance here in this video, it's kicking out to the left, feel free to counter steer as if you were drifting and try to bring it back or let it hang out. That's your choice. Alright, so simple enough, right? Go out, find a safe place to try to do this. I am aware that a lot of you guys probably already know how to do a burnout, but I remember when I first got into cars, and the whole left foot brake thing for burnouts or drifting was not easy for me. It was super awkward. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about this, feel free to write a comment. I think I touched on pretty much everything. Make sure to unhook that battery before you start messing with electronics and cutting wires, okay? The other thing is, these cars don't make a lot of power, but to do a burnout or some basic second gear drifting stuff shouldn't be a problem at all. Right now I have this thing towed in, an 1/8 inch on each side. Not intentional. That's something that I would run on like a 500 horsepower gripped up car. Yeah, I changed some arms and haven't got a proper alignment yet. So I have about an 1/8 inch toe in on each side, and I'm running the 255/35 18 tire, which is a little bit bigger, same size the guys in Formula Drift Pro 2 run, and it had no problem. I mean, that was first gear, like I mentioned, but not a single problem. So I'm excited to get this thing on a track and do some drifting stuff. If you guys didn't know, I've been working at the School of Drift out in Quanbeck, Oregon with Chelsea DeNofa for the past 9 months. So, you know, maybe I'll do some videos on some drifting techniques that might help you guys at your first track day, or you've been struggling with some things at the track. So comment below if you're interested in hearing any of that stuff. And if you really want to get the proper experience, go out to the School of Drift and have Chelsea, or I think Travis Reeder, I think he's working out there now, get you drifting properly and really hone your skills, you know. I think I'm going to knock out a video here in the next day or so discussing the right tire for your drift car, depending on weight of the car, horsepower of the car, model of the car, wheel size, All those things play a big role in picking the right tire for your drift car. So I think we're going to touch on that a little bit. That way you guys are getting the most out of your car, your tire, and your driving. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment giving me your thoughts on this video. Until next time, peace.